Good evening. Sorry for the delay in getting this to everyone, but hopefully it helps as we lead into the weekend and focus on some key things for the group as this is our first competitive games together, which is exciting, but yeah, it's also kind of scary as we take on a new season ahead. So a couple of reminders. Leanna has already done a fantastic job of making sure that we know this, but make sure you're bringing all the uniforms to the game just in case we have to change. Um, Dress appropriately. Make sure you're bringing the layers. It's easier to take layers off than add them when you're cold and freezing. We know the conditions tomorrow could be less than ideal. As noted in the itinerary, you're arriving 45 minutes prior, and then we're ready to start warming up 30 minutes prior. So it gives that 15 minutes to get dressed, find each other, reconnect, chat. From a coaching perspective, we can cover some things, and then we get the bodies moving 30 minutes prior. And obviously, with the colder temperatures, that's going to be more important. Playing times and roles. So this is our first time competing. The target for me as a coach is to play at minimum, for all the players to play at minimum half of each half. As we head into the TCSL season next weekend, there's no re-entry, which means that you can't come back in. And so we're looking to be able to play players in blocks of, I believe, we play 35 minutes tomorrow. That's 17 and a half minutes of time. Can you play in a block of 17 and a half minutes of time? So the goal is we want to be continuous. Now, that doesn't mean that some players won't play more. Obviously, with our roster numbers and what we have available, people are going to play more than half of each game, but at minimum, promising that we're getting players in for half of each game. And as it says there, some of that depends on role they play. Obviously, we have one goalkeeper with us, so Sarah needs to play the whole time. So there's some specific things, and then obviously training and performance. So who's attending training consistently? Who knows what we're doing as a team? Those obviously garner a little bit more minutes as well. And then lastly, as I mentioned, this is a showcase. So it's not like TCSL where ECNL has made this rule where once you're subbed out, you can't re-enter in the half. That's not the case. So if you're subbed out, we can't put you back in. So please understand that's the case as well for the showcase. Objectives. How are we going to measure success? Really, if we look at what the weeks we've been working on training wise, it's been the build moment. So how do we create space to attack, and then organizational moments, how do we deny them space so they can't attack? And so that's really the two things that we're going to look at. We understand that it's very early in the season. We know that there's things that we need to work on, but those are the things that we've been talking about the most. So from what does successful build look like? Are we moving forward together as a team under control? So yes, we want to play forward and score goals, but if it looks broken and the team's stretched and we're frantically running forward, or it's like the back line's deep and the attacking players are attacking on their own, that's not good build-up play. It needs to be done together. Are we connecting 4+ passes often? That means that we're gaining control of the ball, we're establishing possession, we're gaining control of the moment. So how often do we complete four passes or more? So from the sideline, that's a good way for you to look and be like, all right, how often are we doing these things? Are we looking forward, playing forward at the right time? Again, the point of the game is to score goals. So our eyes need to look forward. Our ideas need to bring us forward. But are we choosing the right time? And the right time could be space. It could be numbers. It could be the moment of the game. And that's part of their development as players, is understanding what the right time is for us. And then lastly, being brave to attract pressure. So especially as a team that wants to build and keep the ball, there's going to be times that we're going to ask players to stay on the ball, attract pressure, be brave under like high pressure moments to create that extra player for us. And so we applaud bravery and courage. We applaud intent right now more than execution. We want people to be brave and courage in the face of pressure. Defensively, how do we then judge success when it comes to organization? So how quickly do we find our organized shape? So transitions, we lose the ball. How quickly do we reorganize? Are we a tight team? And you'll see the shape that moves together. So good defensive teams shift and move together, and they're connected. So it's not half the team moving one way, the other team is just standing still. We need to move together. And then we are focused on denying the central space and forcing wide. So are we able to intercept passes trying to be made in between us? Are we able to pick things off, force them to the width? Again, another good way for us to determine what we train. Is it coming through on the field? So attacking organization, very plain and simple. We are going to look to play from a 4-3-3. Again, it can always change if the game demands it, but that means a back four with a single holding midfielder, 2 attacking midfielders, and a front 3. That piece will be, as always, playing different roles and being brave in different places will be part of it. But that is our base attacking shape. And a big stretch or growth for our team is to understand that your attacking shape is different than your defensive shape. So this is our defensive shape. So it becomes a 4-1-4-1. The wingers tuck in, we tighten up. You can see the spaces that we're looking to deny. So this means the areas that we don't want the ball to be played. So our work is focused on denying the ball into here, forcing the ball into the width. So as you can see, very big and expansive, very tight. So this is the challenge when we talk about transition. Can we go from here to here and then really be tight and organized as a unit? From a set pieces, we haven't done a ton. So we talked a little bit about the corner kicks on Wednesday. Defensive corners. We are going to put players on the post, and as we talked with the group, it's the people that maybe are less likely or less interested in attacking the ball out of the air. Sometimes it's outside back, sometimes it's shorter players. It is not always that, but it is very much the players that are less likely to want to go challenge the ball in the air. And then the other ones are going to man mark for now. And what we talk about is we're finding like for like. So again, if you're a taller player, can you find one of their taller players? We don't want one of our shortest players trying to defend one of their tallest players. So are we able to get touch tight, find one of the players that's similar to us, and be able to challenge? The biggest part is that we have to be willing to go make the challenge. We may not even win the ball. We may not be comfortable heading the ball, but if we challenge for it and disrupt the other team's ability to challenge for it, it's a better defensive stance for us, and it creates a better chance for us to clear the ball and deal with the set piece. So then on the attacking side, we looked a little bit at the short corner. So again, looking at, in this example, it was the attacking mid and the left winger looking to combine 2v1. What we talked about is if it's 2 versus 0, we want to try it. If it's 2 versus 1, we can probably still play 2 versus 1. If it's 2 versus 2, as in they bring 2 defenders out to deal with our 2 on the short corner, then we're looking to provide service and to get dangerous. So that is up to them. And what I told them is we need to learn, and so we need to go try it out. If you look at the highest players, or the players furthest from the goal when we attack, I have 2 of our center backs there. Really the goal is to make sure that we have a +1. So if they leave 1 striker high, we need 2 players back. If they leave 0 people high, then we can just leave 1 to deal with counterattacks. And then finally, the players that are attacking the goal, we're loading up on the back post and we're trying to make runs into that 6-yard box to flood and get on the end of things. And then not forgotten is the player on our goalkeeper. We worked on this. We talked about it just a touch, but we do want a player that's fronting the goalkeeper. That just makes it harder for the goalkeeper to come and win the ball freely and cleanly on a set piece. And we barely touched on this. This is definitely a growth area for us, but given the context of the game and how much there's other things that we feel that are more valuable, this is where we're at for set pieces. So hopefully this helps, gives you some gauges, especially parents, what are we going to value? So when we get the game film and we look at it, we're going to look at how good we are in the build. We're going to look at how good we are in the organizational piece. Of course, we're here to compete and win games and score goals, but that's the things we've been training. So those are the only things that we can really assess. It's hard for us to hold the girls to areas that we haven't trained enough. So those are the 2 areas that we're going to assess. Those are the 2 areas that we'll talk about a lot as a team, but making sure that we're all on the same page. So hopefully this is helpful. Make sure to share with your daughter if they don't see this, and we'll see everyone tomorrow morning.